The only thing we really have is now, right now. I went to the supermarket and I was wandering around like, what the hell am I doing here? And then I knew something was going on. We keep each other busy, who you are, what you want. If you can answer those two questions, that will help you a lot.
What do you think the world needs most right now? Hello everyone, welcome here on the Finca podcast series. My name is Robin Leo Hoffman and I'm here today with Giel Boes. And you might guess by our accents where we are from. First of all, I want to thank the Finca that we can be here in this wonderful surrounding, Finca Argayall, and welcome you at home to the podcast. It's going to be a conversation in English. You can grab a tea, grab a coffee and just enjoy, sit back and listen. So maybe just one word why we're having this conversation. Here in Finca Argayall, there are many guests and crew and coaches who come to this place and teach and learn. And while sitting at the plaza, sitting here at the lawn, there are many interesting conversations about all kind of different topics. And the idea is just to share one of these conversations with you at home. So enjoy the conversation. And thank you for being here, Giel.
Yes, pleasure.
You are a Dutch guy, now I said it, because you're author of 2 books. You wrote, the recent book is called 10 Steps Every Afternoon Free. You are also a speaker and you also train, right? You
Yes.
have a long history in IT, 20 years of working in the IT industry. And apart from the writing, you're also founder of your foundation, Boes Foundation. And the Boes Foundation raises money to plant trees and to save the forests and to protect the forests. And you have 2 rabbits.
Well, we adopted one and then we figured out that they usually like to stay more together. So we adopted another one, a male and a female. So now we have 22. No, they're not able to reproduce.
You gave them a little support to not reproduce.
Yeah, but every time of their life, they run free in our garden. So everybody happy.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Before we start the conversation, I want to introduce you and you guys to a ritual that we have here in Finca. Before we have a meeting, we always sit in the first second. And we just tune our awareness into what's there, who is there next to me. There's a camera, there's a camera, there's a camera. There are a few people behind the camera. And then, and you can please join us, we take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and long exhales through the mouth. And if you feel you want to sigh, then just sigh. If not, just have a long exhale. So join Giel and me. We start with the first inhale and a long exhale. And a second inhale. And a third one. Do you notice a difference?
More clear, more relaxed. And this is really awesome because today is Finca Tuesday, which is like a Sunday. So there are no meditation or classes offered. So I still got a quick meditation. Thanks to you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So I'm ready.
So you're ready. That's good. How are you feeling today? Like, what's your state?
I'm actually really bored, really, but in a good way. In a good way. For me, it's like holiday. I'm totally relaxed, walking around. I mean, usually I have every afternoon off, but now I'm having all day off and nothing to do apart from this podcast. So I'm having quite a good day. Thanks.
Can you enjoy having days off?
At home, usually not. That's a challenge for me. I always like to keep busy with something. Here at Finca, I really do. I mean, this place is awesome. I just love wandering around at 1 or 2 kilometers an hour, barefoot. I really like it. Yeah, it's the perfect place to be bored, to do nothing. Sounds better.
Is there any kind of judgment in when you say I'm bored?
No, I actually mean it in a positive way. Like I really feel like I don't have to do something. Just no urge. Actually, it's more like freedom. That's a better word.
Interesting. So boredom is freedom for you.
Yeah, in the most positive way.
In the most positive way. You're a guest here on Finca Argayall. What's your story? How did you get here?
I was actually traveling around the Canarian Islands. So I went to Gran Canaria and to La Palma. I did some weeks around backpacking. And I was looking for a more community kind of place. So I just started Googling spiritual, La Gomera. And first hit was Finca Argayall, place of light. So that's how. Extended 2 times already, so for a reason.
I'm glad you're here. Is there anything, like I'm curious, you're here, you're bored, you have a lot of time. Did you learn something today?
Today? Well, I wrote down something today that I learned yesterday. I was just sitting down and I don't know why, but especially in places like this, sometimes I get like insights, like some wisdom coming through. And what I wrote down was actually quite simple, that the memories we have are usually the moments we are in the here and now.
The memories we have are the moments when they are now.
Exactly. So probably the things, either good or bad memories, are things you were like really present. Otherwise you would just forget them. So
the emotion is present.
Yeah, like you are really aware of the current situation. Like not thinking, because usually a lot of time we spend on thinking about the past, which already happened, or the future, which is unsure and yet to come. But the only thing we really have is now, at this moment, right now. And just by shutting up for a moment, listening to this moment, you are able to make better memories.
You're able to make, you are able to make better memories in the future, that in the future you will think back of the now that we are having.
Exactly.
That's what you mean.
For example, you're walking around, you see a nice waterfall, you're just making pictures and you walk through, or you're just like standing there.
That's interesting.
Not thinking about anything, keeping the phone away, enjoy the moment. And you have a way higher chance that in a few years you will like, oh yeah, that was such a nice time next to Finca Argayall with a waterfall. Because you were in the moment.
And are you in the moment right now?
Absolutely. I will never forget this.
You're too polite, huh?
No, but
let's see.
Yeah. No, I feel kind in the moment. And I have to say that exercise before, I think it helped. And also that I'm having like a kind of relaxing day without doing too much. I had an interview, but it got rescheduled. So that really helps. So not making your agenda too full as well.
Yeah, I mean, you wrote a book about it, right? So before we dive into the book, you were working 20 years in the IT and then something happened to you and you might elaborate on it. You had a burnout and I guess before the burnout you weren't working 4 hours a day. Can you walk us a bit through how did you behave? What were your belief system back then and how did you navigate through work life and your personal life?
Yeah, sure. I started my company after high school and I realized back then that for me, ultimately being rich is like that I can do what I want whenever I want. And what really helps with that is a lot of money. So my goal was to become like a millionaire, you know, the typical getting rich story. So I did several, I was also an employee for some years. Most of the years I have been freelancing at a crazy hour rate. And I also I founded some companies, most of them failed, that's how you learn, University of Life, and also some succeeded. And I was actually going quite well. I was about to become a millionaire quite soon, before my 30, but then I don't know, money can be tricky. I stopped buying expensive cars, loans for houses, crazy stuff happened. Also with business partners, didn't end up well. I made some stupid decisions, and from becoming quite rich, I became almost broke. Yeah. So, and then from them, I started building up again. And so that was one moment I realized, okay, money is not everything, because I was working my ass off. At some point, I was like, okay, this is not the healthiest thing to do. For many of the jobs I did, I had more than 2 screens in front of me, and more than 8 hours a day. So, yeah. Then at some point, I was really overwhelmed, and I really could not work more than 4 hours per day, not even too effective.
You could not?
I could not. Because I could not physically. My body was rejecting. Like I got headache, I got really tired.
Wow.
I slept 10, 12, sometimes even more hours per day. So I was kind of forced to work no more than 4 hours per day. But at the moment, I was having this flexible freelance job, which was more about the result. So I was looking for ways to become more productive in less hours, so I could still fulfill my responsibilities without anyone noticing.
But I'm curious, like, when came this awareness in your system that you might have a burnout?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Because you were working 4 hours and you couldn't work more, and you were like, okay, this is the status quo. I'm trying to find ways to be more efficient. But were you ever questioning that something is wrong, or did you have a diagnosis already?
Of course, I think I talked with the doctor about it. Burnout is not like an official diagnosis in the Netherlands, at least not back then. But for me, it was quite clear because I looked it up. And, Google is always right, whatever you're looking for. The simple fact I could not properly work after lunch was, it was clear something was going up. And I was just early 30. So, yeah, that was quite clear.
When did the idea spark to write a book about it? Were you still in IT when you couldn't work more than 4 hours?
No, I actually, around 6 years ago, I started public speaking, but then COVID came after a while. So I was like, okay, let's go back to IT, because I already wanted to quit back then. And then I was like completely done. I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. So I just quit, and I went from quite a good income to nothing. But that was okay, because I really believed in it. And I started with a sabbatical, 6 weeks, which was not enough. I never had a holiday that long since I'm a child. But I think after 1 week, it was in summer, I got like a heavy flu and everything, no one else around me. I got high fever. I was super tired. I laid on the couch for, I think, 2 weeks. And then if I was not in bed, I laid on the couch. I was really exhausted. So then I was really clear something was going on. And it was back then when I decided, like, okay, whatever I'm gonna do, no more than 4 hours. So I was writing down 10 steps for myself, how I could achieve that. And I talked with a friend of mine. He actually wrote a book about a 4-hour work week. He was very skeptical about the 4-hour work week book from Tim Ferriss. So he tested it very successfully, and then he wrote down his experiences in a book. And he challenged me to write a book about my idea. So I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, because I was planning to build a training around it and use it for my public speaking. So I started writing it down, made a blueprint. After 1 month, I crashed again. I was like, shit, this is not good. So then I was like, fuck it. I take half a year off. So also with the foundation, because I was running most of the departments back then. And that did really well. And then in 1 month, just in the mornings, I finished the book. So I became so productive because I had the sabbatical and applying those 10 steps. Yeah, it's incredible how productive you can become if you just apply the right methods.
And you have never worked more than 4 hours a day after?
Yeah, I did. And I figured out, of course, it's personal, but for me, going with the flow is better. But I'm pretty sure on average, it's below 4 hours. Because I really like to work with the flow. Like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, okay, it's 8 o'clock. Let's take a day off. And I do so. But I'm also sometimes like, it's what the hell? It's Sunday afternoon, or usually it happens more in the morning. I have this idea, let's write it down. So I go a bit more with the flow, because for me personally, it's not working to force it every day like the same. It's like a base, like a template. Does it answer your question?
The last one, yes. The 20 questions I have in my mind, not yet.
So 20 more questions.
20 more questions.
Well, I have the whole afternoon off. So
that's good.
should.
But is this work for you right now?
Now, does it feel like work? But I have to say, if I get invited for a podcast or an interview, usually, if it's an afternoon like now, I usually don't plan anything in the morning. I try to limit it to maximum 4 hours. I can do more for sure, but yeah, why? I mean, you are not so at least I am not productive, like most studies also show, more than 4 hours. And if I do it too long, I know what will happen.
You said that you wanted to become a millionaire. This is a very concrete, materialistic point of view, what to achieve in life. Mm-hmm. What drives you now? Is it the same thing? Do you still want to become a millionaire? Why do you work?
That's also a good question. Well, back then I wanted to do it for just for me, myself, and I. And now I like more to contribute. Like now, for every book I sell, for every training I sell, for when I'm hired as a public speaker, quite a chunk goes to the foundation. We get taught so many times like money is bad, money is evil. It can be, but we also have to admit that we live in a system.
Sure.
You can try, but it's really hard to buy eggs with milk or something. You know, you usually pay with euros, so you need them somehow. And if you have more, you have more freedom. It's easy as that.
Are you a millionaire?
Maybe. No, I am not. I was close to it. Now I'm more far from it, but who knows?
Who knows?
But maybe at the moment this gets published, who knows?
Well, I wish you all the best. As you said, if the intention is a different one and you want to give back, and sure, the good people need to have money as well. Where's this conviction coming from? You say giving something back. Why? Why do you want to give something back?
That's a good question. Actually, that also started in COVID time. I was like, okay, I want to do something. So I was looking for local fincas in the Netherlands, organic farms I could help. So I started doing volunteering work, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. I did several things. I also from home, I did like a call service. So I would random call from a list lonely elder people and having a conversation with them. And I wanted to do something more active as well. So that's when I went to the organic farm, and I really like that. So then I also got inspired because I was already giving a part of my income to other foundations, planting trees and protecting forests. But I was like, why not set up my own foundation? And that's how it all started. Yeah.
And this is now your primal job, or how is it divided between the speaking and the writing?
Well, that's actually like one. That's like my business. I'm currently building a training for the 4-hour workday, every afternoon off. But roughly, I do that like 4 days a week, and for me that means 4 mornings usually. And one morning I dedicate to the foundation. So Monday till Thursday mornings I'm working for my business. Friday morning for the foundation. Actually, this sabbatical I'm doing now, it's like a mini sabbatical of 2 months. So I give quite a late notice, just a few weeks before, to our board and to the voluntary coordinator. Like, okay, I will be out for 2 months. What do you need? I can really recommend it to anyone having a team. They will somehow figure out how to run the company, organization, foundation, whatever, without you. So that was really, what was the question?
That's a good question.
Something I can really recommend. Just disappear for a while and say like you will be unavailable. Mm-hmm. And then also the good thing is now people start taking more responsibility by themselves, as long as it's in line with my vision and everything. So people step up more, so to say. And so there's more creativity and so on. So it's a good thing for the foundation. I'm out right now.
I want to talk about the book, of course, but before we go there, I still want to go back to one moment. You said, so you have this 4-hour work day that your body provides you because the rest of the time you're exhausted and you're really feeling you can't work more. Like, what advice would you give someone who feels stuck in their life, who feels maybe burned out?
First, if you have the opportunity, quit with what you're doing now. And second, take a time off, probably longer than a month if you're like that stuck. And then, especially if you're out of your comfort zone, whether it's on a magical place like this, things will come, you know, like the pieces of the puzzle will fall on its place. And also, whether it's a burnout or something else, you can see it as a gift, because at some point, I really believe, and it's actually also something Oprah Winfrey said, like if you don't follow your path, your life path, which is different for everyone, the universe will somehow kick you in the right direction, whether by a burnout or a relationship ending up or relationship starting, could be anything. So yeah, if you're on that stage, like you're totally exhausted, I would suggest quit whatever causes the exhaustion and take really some time off for yourself without moving. And that's the issue I had before, because I had a burnout, I think maybe 10 years ago for the first time. And instead of really taking a time out, I just worked a bit less, took a month off and continued at another company. And then it started again. I went to the supermarket and I was wandering around like, what the hell am I doing here? And then back then I knew something was going on. It didn't go that far last time, fortunately. But yeah, a burnout can be quite an insight. It can provide insight. I mean,
Heal.
Heal.
You probably have a morning routine. Do you want to share it?
Sure. I do some breath work or straight into meditation / yoga. Something like breathwork, meditation, yoga for about 20 minutes, half an hour. I read an optimistic article about positive news regarding any subject. So I've like this magazine called The Optimist. And I like to read it in the morning. And I journal. Like in the morning, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 intentions for the day. And I like the word intention more than goals, because it's like less pressure. And the funny thing is, just try it out. If you write something down, you will see that usually those things, like unconsciously, will happen sooner or later, but usually the same day. So yeah, things I'm grateful for, things I intend to do that day. So I write down some affirmations, like if you want to do it in the most effective way, write it in a positive way, of course, in the present time. Like I'm a great person, whatever you like to write down. And so yeah, that's what I do. In the evening, I write about something I really enjoyed that day, something I'm proud of, and some lesson that I learned that day. Could be anything. Could be something from this conversation, could be something I read. But yeah, basically those 3 things. So, and I also check my plan or my agenda for the day. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's look shortly in the topics of your book. You challenge the 8-hour workday, and you say it's more about focusing on the outcome rather on the time, the sheer hours. How do you respond to critical voices that say that this model is only suitable for certain kind of professions? And what is the universal truth about work-life balance?
I believe the work-life balance, of course, is individual. And it also depends on the kind of work you do. What I figured out is that when I was trying to become as most effective I could in those 4 hours, sometimes I found myself more exhausted than before with 8 hours. So it can be tricky. So don't try to do too much like in the morning. So yeah, that's why I also take longer breaks. Usually I take like half an hour to 1 hour break and short breaks in between. I have to say that it's not yet possible for every job, for every profession. So I focus mainly on people who work a lot digitally, where a lot of time is wasted by emails, meetings, and also bullshit work sometimes. Well, a lot. But of course, if you are in healthcare or teacher, I think you can also win some, and I'm pretty sure that everyone, regardless of the job, almost every job you can save at least 1 hour. But saving 4 hours per day, assuming you work 8 hours now, is not possible for every job.
How could it be possible in the future?
Robotics, AI, and also, of course, I mean, the reason we work depends on the country and, of course, on the job. But let's say it's 40 hours in average, is because we at some point in time we agreed on that, so it became a standard. But what most people seem to forget is that we also have different standards. And even in many countries, people still work 50, 60 hours a week or more. And we also did that in the past in our countries. So it can be changed. And the Nordic countries are more advanced in that. And also in the Netherlands, it's quite common to work 4 days a week or even 3 days a week. And the Friday is becoming part of the weekend for many people now. So yeah, it can change by slowly shifts in the society. And then, of course, if let's say nobody wants to work more than 30 hours, at some point, because companies still need people to employ, somehow the money will be redistributed and they will still get a good salary from it.
But do you think that's actually happening?
Yeah.
I like to believe that, but do you see this world leading towards that kind of a work?
Yeah, it does. It already did many times, because in the past we were getting, well, maybe not if you correct it for inflation, but we were getting much less paid for 60 hours per week than now by 40 hours. And there are even some companies I know of, they pay their employees for 5 days, like 40 hours, but they work for 4 days. And the reason behind this is that those companies believe, okay, if you take every Friday afternoon off and you get paid, your productivity will be better the other 4 days.
Which, they prove that the productivity actually increases, and they could do the same 4 days than 5 days.
Exactly.
Okay, when?
There was an economist in the early previous century who predicted in 2030 we would have a 15-hour work week.
Is that still accurate, or is it outdated?
I think it's a bit outdated. But I would not be surprised if it would be 30 hours by 2030, like in Western countries.
But therefore, we need to do some of the steps that you mentioned in your book. You say it's about eliminating bullshit work. Can you elaborate on how you identify bullshit work and cut out essential tasks from your life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, well, a lot of time is wasted, I think, on administrative work. And of course, email is one of them. But also many companies ask their employees to log all the time, which is actually saying okay, I don't really trust you. Please prove what you did. What I really believe is you should do what you are educated to do, what's your passion probably as well. Not doing a lot of administration, writing emails, planning meetings, logging your time. Sometimes it feels like we just keep each other busy with emails, meetings, and bullshit work.
But can I go to my boss tomorrow and be like, hey, I have my profession, I have my skills. I want to cut out all the administrative tasks. What is the realistic aspect? If I'm an employee, for example, how can I cut bullshit work?
Well, of course you can automate it a lot. And I understand if you are if your hours will be directly invoiced to clients of the company, I understand you need to have some kind of logging. But that can be automated a lot. There's so much software available for it. You can definitely save many hours on time logging, because of course you need to do some administrative work, but you can bundle it. And what I would really recommend is, because for that kind of work, you don't need to think too much. Do it at the end of the day or at the end of the week. Mm-hmm. And start your day with the most productive things you should do. On the days I work, I also have a top 3 for things I want to achieve, that I really want to achieve today. And it could be writing a mail to someone, but usually it's not. Usually it's finishing a project, starting a project, writing a chapter for a book, whatever. And start with that straight away when you start working. Don't have Outlook or whatever email application you use open all the day. Just start by your primary tasks. If you have time left, you can spend that on bullshit work like email and time logging, whatever you like to do.
I don't want to do bullshit work.
Nobody does, but sometimes it's, in my opinion, bullshit jobs that can be completely eliminated. Like, sorry if I offend someone, but I don't know, like many things that start or end with quality control or manager, Flubiflex or whatever kind of. And of course, there are things that you need, but sometimes I also feel like we keep each other busy somehow instead of focusing on the output and what brings the company or the organization to a next level. And usually that's not sending emails to each other back and forth all the time. But email is used as a chat box. I send you a mail, I get a question back, and so on and so on. But for that, you can use different applications or have a real talk in real life.
So as you are a founder of your own company, how are you applying these tools in your own company? Do you time box your employees?
My best employees of the month usually are Google, ChatGPT, Moneybird, software. And because it's working 24/7 and you can really automate it.
But you said you have like 17 volunteers.
Oh, volunteers, but yeah, by the foundation, yes. Mm-hmm. But that's really flexible and they work like only a few hours per week. So that's hard to time box. But of course we have like we agree on how to communicate, how not to communicate. What I don't have yet, but I really would like to do, is make a how to work with me guide, and then ask everyone to do it. I mean, everybody's different. We are people, and I really like it if people have straightforward questions, give me feedback as well, and if they send me an email, that I only have to reply with yes or no. That's called binary mailing. And if it's too complicated, I tend to just reply something and don't tell that to my wife, please. I mentioned something like, I don't know how to do that. That works. She already knows it's not working on her anymore. But
I mean, she's not your employee, right?
Sorry?
She's not your employee, so no, maybe that's...
Definitely not. No, I'm her. If I'm like, okay, this doesn't belong to me. I may know how to do it, but I want you to do it. And I want you to figure out how to do it. I don't want to tell you how, because it takes a lot of time. If people just keep coming to me, because I will solve it in the end, they will not learn. So if I tell them like, oh, I don't know how to do it, I don't like lying, but actually I'm helping them. And then they have to figure it out and they will remember how to fix it. And you can win a lot of time with that. I mean, you can also do it if you're an employee towards other employees.
Pushing them into self-empowerment.
Yeah, and what's happening a lot, that's maybe also bullshit work. Another department or another colleague with another profession is asking you basically to do their work. So then you're just focusing on urgent work and not on things that need to be done, the important stuff.
How do you think will the status or the meaning of work be in future? And is spirituality playing a part in that kind of field?
That's a good question. I think, of course, it depends also on the person. What I really do believe is that if you do what you love to do, you will succeed somehow. And it could be something you like to do as a child, something you still like to do. For example, being a child, I really loved to entertain people, to write, to make cartoons, to do creative stuff. And I really believe, and actually that's already happening, I see, because so many people have like a part-time job and next to it, they start their own company with something they really love to do. And I think there's like a big shift going on, especially in the Western world, that people get more freedom to do those kind of things. Also thanks to the internet and ChatGPT and so on, but also because it's more accepted.
Isn't it conveying a mixed message when this is becoming a habit that people are having their first-hand job and actually founding a company or starting a business on the extra time, because then it's more about not working less but working more?
No, I mean like the step moving in that direction. I mean that's what you see, how many people start, because we live in a system where you need money to pay for your stuff. And if you start your own company, usually it costs money in the beginning. It's an investment in time and money. But once it starts lifting off, whether in a couple of months, maybe longer, you can quit your job. And then you have much more freedom. You also need discipline for that, I have to say. I mean, there are so many, and I did the same. I worked my ass off.
But I mean, you got a burnout through it, working your ass off. So
Yeah.
what should be the future of work look like? What is the meaning of work in the future?
Well, what would really help is if somehow, and I think it's possible for many jobs, that people do it who actually like it. I mean, you see a lot of time that someone is a teacher, but likes more maybe to work in healthcare, and someone who's in healthcare would like to teach. You know, why not
But how do you solve that?
exchange the two? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, what could really help is I think in early stage at school, is some kind of promoting entrepreneurship. What I'm really missing in schools, like what you really believe, your core beliefs, promoting spirituality, entrepreneurship somehow, but really figuring out what you like, how you can contribute. And I figured it out by myself, but not in a straight line for sure. I mean, and I think that would help a lot, because a lot of people, like in India, it's still quite tough. Like, I've heard it from Indian guys, like, okay, your parents literally tell you, I want you to become a doctor or an engineer, you choose. And those are the only two options you have. But what if you want to, I don't know, work at a Finca, do something else?
Which is interesting because India is a very spiritual country,
Yeah.
right? So how is spirituality actually helping you? What do you think?
That's a good question. Well, I think if you're able to connect more with yourself by meditation, by yoga, what works the best for me is being offline. I implement offline days and also offline hours, usually like from 8 to 8 at night, but also during day I do now and then. And then I just go walking in nature, no phone, nothing, no internet. And then for me, that's the best way connecting with my higher self, with God, the universe, however you want to call it, and figuring out what I really want. And then problems I try to solve behind my screen for an hour, I just get solved in an instant. And I think if we would spend more time on that, just being in the present moment, being offline, right here, right now, nature, just alone probably, that will give so many insights about who you are, what you want. If you can answer those two questions, that will help you a lot. And I also believe that if you really do what you love, if you figure out what's like your dream job, if you really like it, you will be much more productive, and you can probably run around circles with people that work full time and don't like it. I mean, I've seen it happening a lot.
Which is interesting. So you say embracing the spirituality, embracing the offline time, reconnecting to the human potential makes you, on an ecological term, more efficient at work. So, and you still get more time for the rest of your day. So
Yeah.
kind of embracing more the human variety of experiences, of possible experiences,
Yeah.
rather than only working for the sake of working.
Yeah, and do what you like, what you love.
But what would you say to someone, like you were saying in the beginning, you're bored, and I know we talked about what it means, but I have this urge quite often, the necessity to do something. And I know people who are like work addicts because they can't figure out what else to do. What would you...
Guilty.
Yeah,
It
so...
happened a lot, yeah.
And you needed to write a book to finally
Yeah.
solve that pattern. What would you recommend? How can people let go of this work addiction?
Well, spend time in nature really helps.
But when I go to nature and then my mind is like circulating around all the things I need to do, what then?
You need to go through it. And it can be confronting. But spending time alone, spending time in nature, and spending time offline. Those three things I can recommend to anyone. Even if it's just for 4 hours per day, or even if it's just for 15 minutes per day, 4 hours is a lot. I think just doing that every day, like 15 minutes, having some time for your own, preferable alone, outside, offline. I think that's much more valuable than doing a pilgrimage every 5 years or something. Of course, it's also valuable, but try to connect with yourself in the here and now.
Just need to laugh because last year I went the Camino de Santiago, and this year I wanted to do another big hike. So maybe I should stop doing pilgrimages and just get myself 15 minutes every day.
Yeah, or do both. But in the offline time, it's incredible how much I removed WhatsApp and social media stuff from my phone a while ago, and it's so much more freedom. I already turned off like all the notifications and stuff, but still, if you have those apps nearby, it's so tempting. And those apps they're programmed very addictive, so you will use them more. But trying to hack that, life hacking, you can save a lot of time and energy.
What do you think the world needs most right now?
I was thinking about peace, but probably inner peace. I mean, if people can be more peaceful with themselves, like look here at the Finca, people are so nice and friendly, and I think that's because we spend time in nature. We are a lot offline, and we spend time on meditation, yoga, those kind of things, connecting with ourselves. And of course, everybody who is watching or listening to this podcast is already doing that, but or at least one of them. But the offline thing, that's something I would really. I mean, in my country, like 1 in 5 employed people is having burnout complaints or risking a burnout. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like 20%. That's insane. And for the Gen Z, the millennials, like people below 35, it's like 1 in 4. And that's changing rapidly because of the digital age we are living in. There is so much information stress, 24/7 notifications on your phone. Before we had the internet, and the internet has so many good things. It's hard to live without now, but it's also destroying a lot of things. I'm sure there would be way less burnouts without. Actually, there are more burnouts because of the internet, since the internet. But it's not the internet, it's the way we communicate and we interact 24/7. So what the world needs right now, spend more time alone, offline, and in nature. At least offline, that would definitely help. So, there is probably on every phone nowadays the option to put your phone in fly mode. I love to do that after dinner for 12 hours plus. I won't turn it on before I finish my morning ritual. And I have all the notifications turned off. I'm not checking, of course, not on my phone, but also not on my computer, social media, email, what so on, until the second half of my workday, which starts at 11. That gives so much freedom. It's our brain is addictive. It's getting quite easily addictive to dopamine. Like, I get this message from Robin, let's react, and then unconsciously I'm like, okay, did he already reply? Let's check. And so I get in a very reactive mood. But if I focus on my top 3 things on the work I really want to deliver, I need to deliver things that are expected from me. If I just focus on that, and after my first long break, then I start doing the reactive work like emails, meetings, social media related stuff if I have to.
How did you prime yourself? Do you have any kind of treat after you finished your work? Is social media then a treat, a reward?
Yeah, it can be used as a treat, but also helps. It's like having some kind of electrical necklace. And as soon you open an app, you get...
You don't have this?
No. No, what I do, I can really recommend that app. It's called Forest. That's actually how I start planting trees.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You plant a virtual tree, and as soon you open any other app, the tree gets killed, which is very sad, of course. It's like gamification.
Yeah.
Forest apps, it's awesome. So that helps. So I do that, and also keeping your phone in a different room or in a drawer, hide it. I'm also a human being. Sometimes it's tough. I ask someone to hide it for me,
really?
Or just go offline for. I try to do it at least 36 hours per week, like from Saturday evening to Monday morning. And then the Sundays are incredible. Of course they are, but even more. Like you have so much more, not just more time, but more. You are much more in the here and now. It's really nice, and then you feel like more freedom to do like those things that you usually postpone, like I don't know, if maybe fixing the door or whatever kind of thing you need to do for a long time, but always keep postponing. When you don't have the 24/7 electrical devices around that take your attention all the time, you feel more freedom to do that kind of stuff.
But I guess it's hard to break this vicious cycle.
It is, yeah.
Because it just grabs your attention, and it's designed for that reason. And
what can help us do it together? Like, hey, let's
find a pal.
Yeah, find a pal or an accountability buddy. Like I tell you right now, I will be like 36 hours offline.
I really enjoy it when my phone gets destroyed, which happens once every few years. And then I try to extend the period from buying a new phone to the most possible date. Sometimes it's a week or two, and that's the best week of my life. But just being offline for 2 weeks.
That's a nice time.
I love it. But therefore my phone needs to break. See, that's why the buddy thing is cool.
Yeah.
So since we're here already at the takeaway corner, I would say, do you have like a few more easy practices, tools, ideas, tips, techniques to A, cut bullshit work, of course, B, maybe reshaping how you see your relationship to work, and C, just live a healthy life?
Something regarding cutting bullshit work is by focusing on the essential work. And one very good technique to do that is called Pomodoro. Maybe you heard of it. It means tomato in Italian. And it's like a timer in the form of a tomato. So he puts the tomato timer, the Pomodoro, in 25 minutes, then focus, then the timer goes off. Short break of 5 minutes to grab a coffee, tea, go to the toilet, and then do it again. Do that in total for 4 times. And you have 2 hours. Then you take a longer break of half an hour. And then you really go out just for a walk or meditation, whatever. But the mistake I did a lot, which I also see many people doing, they go like from the computer, they take a break, they drink a coffee with their phone. So then you go from one impulse to another. That's quite intense. I would not recommend that. So limit your screen time. What also really helped me is like no television after 8 o'clock, or no screens at all after 8 o'clock. You sleep better. For a long time, I thought I was not a morning person. But the thing is, if you keep the middle of your sleep in the middle of the dark, for example, the middle of the darkness at night, the middle of the night is around 2 o'clock. Let's say you need 8 hours of sleep. From 10 to 6 would be the best. And if you follow that pattern like animals do, they're more active, they have more energy during the day, as just got demonstrated. So there was a bird, in case you didn't hear it. So by doing that, my experience is I have way more energy during the day and I wake up much easier. And what really keeps surprising me is that people usually go to bed when it's already dark for maybe 4 or 5 hours. And they wake up when it's light. And for me, it sounds much more logical to go to sleep when it's dark for 2 hours and wake up when it's still dark for 2 hours. But of course, you know, it's like dark, you are lazy, you don't want to wake up. But if you follow that pattern, that really helps a lot by hacking your biorhythm. And it's way healthier as well. And there is a saying like the hours before 12 count double. For me, it really feels that way. Like if I sleep from 12 till 9, I am more sleepy than when I sleep from 10 till 5 or something. Yeah. And I had another idea I wanted to share. To reduce the amount of pixels, you know, from the screens we get fired. And especially with all those apps, they are programmed in such a way. And I know because I once programmed an app, you want the user to be in that app as much as possible. So they are programmed in quite an addictive way that you want to go to that +1 and see how many notifications you got and check the messages and so on. So what you can do is put your device in a different color filter. So it will be like, not like black and white, but like gray color. It's amazing.
I have it. It's amazing. I love it.
You're the first guy I met that's actually doing it, because most people don't even know about it. But trust me, guys, it's impressive.
It's amazing. It reduces the urge to look at the phone immediately.
Yeah, it's so boring.
Yeah.
It's really boring.
And a bit nostalgic, because now everything on my phone is in black and white. I'm like, oh, look, back then, yesterday.
Yeah.
What a good time.
Yeah, it really works. And so it's more boring. And also when you use a social media app or whatever, you don't get distracted all the time. Like, go here, click here. We need your attention right now. So yeah, that's also one thing. And I think most takeaways I already said, but those are actually the best ones I can think about.
Thank you.
I think what mainly helped me the most is just crashing now and then and try to figure out things. I mean, let's call it Darwinism in my own life. Yeah, evolution. And I like to do things better and try to make the better version of me every day. And as long as you keep striving for that, you can get so much more out of life. Yeah.
What do you hope people take away from this conversation?
That they're there to live their own life. Just whatever you like to do, figure out a way to do it. And I really believe that the world will become a better place like that. And it's not just, I mean, the first months I had every afternoon off. I have to confess, I started watching Netflix series. I was getting a bit addicted to the television. I got bored. Maybe that's something you need to get through. But then there will come some kind of inner peace and time. And whether you spend more time with your family, with your parents, with your kids, with your rabbits, whatever you like. One of the reasons people work so much, and you also see like now couples both working full-time their ass off with or without kids, is because of the fucked up capitalistic system we live in. And of course it has good things, but we get so much tempted to buy a second car, a third television, a fourth holiday, all those material things. If you have less urge to buy stuff or buy new stuff, I mean, you can also buy secondhand, which is also much better for the environment. Become a bit more minimalistic. You have so much more freedom and you save a lot of money. You also need to work less. So, I mean, time is the really only thing we have. We cannot produce, probably love as well. But we spend so much time on collecting money, we don't have time to spend it. So I just don't get it. It's killing the planet step by step and a recipe for a burnout. So try to need less, try to spend less, and you will have more financial freedom. You need to work less. And also if you have less stuff, you need to maintain less, you need less insurances. It's also much more relaxing. I mean, I'm not saying you should not have any stuff at home, but if you have less stuff, you will have definitely more peace of mind. I always start with an empty desk. I also end that way. You can focus much better. And the same for if your living room is full of stuff, you unconsciously you get distracted so much.
Well, thank you. When you go back to the Netherlands, what will you take with you from your time on Finca?
A lot of inner peace for sure. I think I also led a lot of stuff here. I really think some insights like how precious this present moment is. Because instead of using my phone or being online, I spend some time on spontaneous, genuine connections, like conversation we have now. I would love to do that more at home. And whether it's with someone sitting next to me in a train, someone on the street, a family member, a friend, just like more spontaneous. That's something I really miss back home. But if you want to plan a game night with friends, you're lucky if it can be planned in 3 months. But people react within a minute usually if you ask them something. So that's a pattern I try to break by just doing more spontaneous stuff. Yeah. That's something I really love in this place.
I wish you exactly that, and that you will have many spontaneous moments and many spontaneous game nights, huh? That would be nice.
Awesome.
Like it happens sometimes here. Maybe we have one tonight. I really would be for a spontaneous game night.
Of course.
Well, Giel, thank you very much for the conversation.
You're welcome.
And of course, thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this online, or even if you are in Finca, you can have such a conversation with someone of us might be here. And if not, there are many interesting other people here. And as you're saying this, that's exactly one quality of Finca, these spontaneous interactions.
Yeah.
People come here, sit just next to you at a table, and then you start, and then a whole evening and a journey arises, and you're like, wow, I couldn't have thought of that. And that's a precious quality. So thank you for watching. And you can check Giel's website. We will link stuff and everything. And the book, hopefully it comes out in English at some time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you're interested, let me know, because I need maybe some more motivation to translate. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or Instagram.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. And see you next time on the podcast.
Ciao.
Bye. Thank you.
Good one.